warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Azahra. I'm from Indonesia University of Education. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about Masjid Sumpah, Terate, Udik. Once upon a time, in a village, there was a mosque that used for people to pray. Not only for that, it's also used for deliberation, discussion, and used for a community gathering place to solve problems that related to daily life. One day, people come to the mosque. They meet Ustadz Wahid, the mosque committee. Mr. Ahmad, one of the committee members, told Ustadz Wahid that there was a land dispute between Mr. Tio and Mr. Sidik at the village hall. And they want Ustadz Wahid to come and solve the problem. So, Ustadz Wahid goes there. At the village hall, he speaks with both parties. Mr. Tio and Mrs. Sidik say that the land behind this mosque is belongs to them, which is impossible. Until late at night, they keep still with their opinion that the land is owned by them. So, Ustadz Wahid gives suggestion. What if the land divided into two? As you can imagine, they didn't want to. Then, Ustadz Wahid decided that this case would be settled tomorrow morning at the mosque. Both of them need to bring a witness. The next day, Mr. Tio and Mrs. Sidik come with their witnesses. The discussions began. Witnesses from both sides were asked to come forward to take an oath. One by one, the witnesses were sworn in by wearing a scarf in front of Holy Book of the Quran. I promise, in the name of Allah, in front of the Quran, that the land behind this mosque belonged to Mr. Sidik. I have seen and heard with my own eyes and ears. Ki Ahmad gave his will before he died, said Rahmat, witness from Mr. Sidik's side. Is that right, Mr. Rahmat? Asked Ustadz Wahid. Hey, you are lying. You can say anything as you want to. We are from Mr. Tio's side have evidence. It is Ki Ahmad's will. We just got this letter from the person who used to clean his room. This letter was found under Ki Ahmad's bed, explained Randik, a witness from Mr. Tio's side, while showing the will. Ki Ahmad. During his lifetime, he was known as a village elder and a cleric. Until the end of his life, he had never been married and had no children. Meanwhile, Ki Ahmad's wealth has no one to take care of. And now, the closest people who are considered adopted children by Ki Ahmad are fighting over his property. Tragic. Finally, after seeing several witnesses and convincing evidence, Ustadz Wahid and other clerics agreed that the land belonged to Mr. Tio. Everyone who supported Mr. Tio was clapped happily. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mr. Sidik's side looked gloomy. In the evening, Mr. Randik suddenly fell ill. According to the doctor who examined him, said that he had severe illness. A few days later, he was died. Mr. Tio was scared. He felt guilty for telling Mr. Randik to swear a perjury in front of a whole village. He was scared that something might happen to him, so he decided to admit that he lied and made a fake will. In the evening, Mr. Tio's house was on fire. Mr. Tio's wife and children can be saved. Mr. Tio can't be saved anymore. That was the fate that Mr. Tio had to accept because he had lied to all the villagers. From that incident, the villagers received a lesson. Then they decided that the remnants of Ki Ahmad's wealth would be wakaf and used to build a mosque and village. Since then, the villagers have considered that the mosque is a place that must be guarded and reserved. And finally, the mosque was enlarged and used as mosque for worship. From that event, we can take so many lessons that goodness will always be proven, and evil will be known no matter how small. we must be wise to keep our mouths shut, that our mouths are not used to swear carelessly. Terate Udik Mosque, located in Terate Udik Masjid village, Cilegon district, Cilegon city, Banten province, is commonly used to swear. However, only people who really and meant it is willing to swear in this mosque. This mosque still exists and is guarded and reserved because it is still believed to be an old mosque.